the education level is starting to become less important. But as long as you've taken the effort, shown initiative to take those programming courses like in Coursera, or I think more people are finding that valuable.
どうも生徒です。今日なんですけども、インタビューというか対談というかそんな感じの動画を撮ります。LANCulさんというですね、僕の友達がやってらっしゃるスタートアップの会社があるんですけど、そこのカナダ出身の凄腕 CTO さんがいるんで、ぜひね、いろいろカナダのウェブの話とか、カナダのウェブ IT 企業の話ってどうなのとか、あとエンジニア事情ってどうなの、技術トレンドはどうなんだろうっていう話を僕は聞きたいなと思ってます。貴重なね、お話ができるんじゃないかなと思うので、ぼちぼち話していきたいと思います。はい、ではこんな感じで普段 WebIT 業界の話とかプログラミング動画の講座やってますんで、まだチャンネル登録してない人はそこの、登録と、あとね、ベルマークの通知オンにしといてもらえると嬉しいですって感じで、本題の方に入りましょう。どうぞ。
この動画はオンラインプログラミングスクールのテックアカデミーの提供でお送りします。
はい、というわけで、LANCulの CTO のカーソンさんに来てもらいました。Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hi everyone.
Okay, so at first, Carson-san, could you introduce yourself about your background and what do you do now?
Sure. My name's Carson Lee. I actually come from Toronto, Canada, and I studied software engineering in the University of Waterloo. And I've worked in the mobile development space for 10 years now, a little over 10 years. And now I'm the CTO here at LANCul in Japan.
First, I would like to know, so why did you join the Japanese startup company?
Yeah, so I mean, originally I came to Japan on a working holiday visa.
Working holiday visa.
Yeah, just to kind of have some fun, and I've always wanted to check out Japan. And I got introduced to LANCul through my friend, and I started off as a mate, just doing language exchange.
Language exchange.
Yeah, I just wanted to meet people and just learn about Japanese culture. And after about a year, I had an opportunity, an engineering position opened up.
At first you just joined as a teacher.
Yeah.
Then after that, get the offer as a developer.
Yeah. And I had some other opportunities to at other tech companies to try, but I really wanted to try my own thing and to kind of help LANCul take it to the next level.
Nice.
That's why I like startups. There's more control, more freedom, and I just really wanted to see what I could do to change this company around.
Yes. Did you also apply for other Japanese company?
Yeah, I applied to a couple of I guess the big famous ones.
Mercari.
Yeah, PayPay. And Rakuten.
Yes,
those are the three big ones that I applied to.
Regarding the hiring process, did you feel any differences between Canada and Japan?
Yeah, so most of the big companies nowadays, because it's difficult to just meet in person all the time, they'll always send you like a coding exercise.
So
Mercari and PayPay, for example, they didn't even have like an HR level interview. It was a straight, here's a coding exercise.
Wow.
And if you pass that, then there was an in-person meeting to see how you talk about your experience with the tech lead, things like that. So, and in Canada, it depends mostly on the company.
Yeah,
but it's mostly the same. You'll have a short interview with an HR person, and then there'll be a coding challenge.
I see.
Something along those lines. It's pretty much the same, I'd say.
I understand. We have any differences between Japanese and Canada about the technology demand and trend. For example, in Japan, so I think regarding the backend developer, so I think now we have many demand about the PHP developer, and then for front end, React JS from Vue.js, I think they are more popular now. But, so how is Canada? So do you feel any differences of trend?
I think North America and Japan gearing towards web-based applications, because I think while it's useful to have Android apps and iOS apps and other things, I think at the end of the day having a web app is the best kind of easiest development path,
Yes.
especially if you're low on resources. And I mean, like it's not like people don't have iOS and Android apps, but I think the trend is going more that way, right? Better web technologies, easier to produce and maintain. React, Vue.js. That's kind of the path everyone would like to take at the end of the day. Yeah.
So, for example, regarding mobile development, in Philippines, I think the Android developer is better than iOS because because of the rating of sharing. So Filipino doesn't use iOS because it's really expensive.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Android is more better. That's why. So the regarding job description, so Android is more
popular.
Popular, yeah. But in Japan, I think iOS is good, better than Android, or the same. Like that.
I think there's more iPhone users, right? Just in the consumer world.
Yes.
So then probably as a result, there's more iOS developers on hand for like things like that.
Yes. So it's almost similar to Canada.
I think so. I mean, I don't have any stats on hand for that, but I think so. To my knowledge, iPhone is a little bit more popular, but I guess it just depends. At the end of the day, it's not so much country based. It just depends on what industry you're in and what kind of job you're in, things like that.
I see. I guess you come to Japan and joined the Japanese IT company. Then I guess it's not easy.
No.
By the way, so if Japanese developer go to Canada and get work, so is it difficult, and what hurdle do we have? Do you any imagine?
Well, I mean, I don't know. but I think, I mean, just to flip the question a little bit, so I think at first I'm very lucky that I don't speak any Japanese.
Yes.
Like you can ask anybody here, when people say they come to Japan and they don't speak Japanese, usually they speak a little Japanese. I don't speak any Japanese. So I'm very lucky I was able to find this job where I don't need to speak any Japanese at all, and I have a lot of coworkers that are fluent in both languages and can help me translate. So, I'm lucky that way. But back to your original question, I think if a Japanese person went to Canada and didn't speak English, it would be virtually impossible, right? Like I think you'd have to have a much higher level of the English language there, because I think the coding English is one thing, that's the easy part, but it's talking to other people, talking to business partners, talking to other developers, where if you only spoke Japanese, I would imagine that's very, very difficult. I mean, again, I don't know because I'm not in that position, but yeah, I think getting around town or working with your coworkers, if you didn't speak English, would be like, I don't know of any Japanese only companies in Toronto, so I think it would be really hard if you didn't speak any English.
If Japanese can speak English and then approach to Canadian company, so for example, if a Japanese developer applies for any job position like front end, back end, or mobile iOS and Android apps, so which field is how can I say, easy to get job for Japanese? If compare,
I think foreigners in general, like for example, there's a lot of Chinese people that don't really speak English, but they still get good tech jobs. I think it just really depends on the industry. Like I think if you're in the banking industry, the chances of you interacting with a customer or other people that need a higher level of English is higher. So if your level of English isn't there, then it's very difficult to get that type of job. But if you're in a startup, like if you're in the Waterloo area or you're in a startup hub and you're doing some type of like app for like exercising, then probably even if you don't speak a lot of English, as long as you're in that group where someone does, then it's okay. So I would say it's irrelevant of front end or back end. I think it's just if your job requires you have to talk to a non-developer, like a business person, then you need a higher level of English. Like if they hire you for back-end work and it's just sit in the corner and work, then probably you only need to interact with your tech lead or whoever's giving you work. So yeah, just I don't know if there's any industry that makes it easier, but
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
imagine banking would be harder if you need to, because you need to speak more English and things like that. Probably the more tech related, the more tech focused, then the easier it is.
It means the requirement of skills and the level will be different depending on the industry. And
I would think so. Yeah, I would think so.
I think I understand. Then okay, so next question is so it's difficult to explain English,
That's
but
okay.
In Japan, so Japanese developers sometimes want to categorize Japanese IT companies as three categories like SES, SIR, and 自社開発 is how can I say in English? Self-service company. So then let me explain about what the difference is of them. Then at first, self-service company is self-service company has own product. For example, LanCul, your company is also, I think, self-service company. So they will they get product and they scale this own service, and then the developer also just want to just try to coding and then scale own service. But like SIR, for example, SIR has no own service. Then instead they have clients. Then clients request to make any product. That's why so the developer in SIR company will code for clients. And then finally SES. SES is also the similar model to SIR. They don't have their own service product. Then they have clients, but they sell their own time. So, for example, if clients request to make any product, web service or applications, the SES company will SES company try coding, but depending on time. That's why so how can I say? So sometimes they will go to the client office, but sometimes work on remote, and then work together and scale the service.
Right.
So this is it.
It's a consulting.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
including consulting. Then Canada also has a type of category like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure about the terms you use there, but in general, I think North America has similar division of programmers, right? Whether you either own a firm where you hire staff to go out and people hire your consulting firm for that, or they have their own service, or it's just people on hire specifically to do something that your client wants, right? It's just really right. The division is always just: do you want to be a programmer and that does work, or do you want to be part of a team that just gets consulted off, or own a firm that does that to make money, right? It's just a different business model, right? A different grouping, different naming. But yeah, in general, that I would think that exists all across the world of how you want your tech or group of programmers to be run, right? That's all.
Yeah, because the reason why I just asked you is because I think this situation depends on the country. It's different. For example, in Philippines, they have few of self-service company because the startup company in Philippines is not many. So instead, they will have many clients from foreign country.
I understand.
That's why, like the company like SES, SEIR, and many in Philippines. Then I also have listened America, like Silicon Valley, has less of culture like that. They only have their own service. If they want to create any product, then they need a developer. They don't try outsource. Just hire employee as a developer. That's why I wanted to ask the differences about the one. Then also, in addition, because Japanese sometimes have a hard discussion in Twitter, then for example, SES and SI are bad companies, and then the self-service company is better, like that.
No, I really, I mean, from my standpoint, I don't think it's a good or bad.
Yes, yes.
I think it's just like what kind of company, as an employee, what kind of company do you want to work at? Do you want to build a good product you believe in, or do you just want to make more money, and, get sent out to get travel? Right? I think as I get older, as you get older, I think when you're younger,
Yes,
you
yes.
really want to code and make a good
Exactly,
product.
exactly.
But as you get older, you realize that's kind of a dream, right? You never really, unless you have your own startup or you partner with someone, rarely do you get to build exactly what you want, because there's other things involved. There's business, money. So as you grow up, it's just, do you want to make more money, or what kind of team do you want to be a part of? Right? That's the way I see it. And to what you said, I think Philippines maybe just has a lot of extra workers.
Yes,
And so people
yes.
get contracted out as an offshore team to help them out with Android or web work and stuff like that, because maybe they just don't have the resources or funds to start their own products and take it to the next level.
Yes,
So then they're usually just seen as the offshore team. Right?
That's
That's what I would think, at least.
Oh, you Canada also has an offshore team.
Yeah, I mean, offshore team is a very common thing for overnight support or extra help for
overnight.
Android, iOS work, mobile work, whatever it may be. But I think if you can afford it, in-house help is usually better, in my opinion.
Better.
Well,
better.
I think a lot of the dream is
Sure.
have offshore help, but you need to manage that team.
Yes.
So it's difficult, right?
Yes,
It's
exactly.
difficult.
The difficult culture.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question is, in my impression, so foreign company always requires a Bachelor of Computer Science applicant. So so if I look at the job description, so almost the job description says like they have many conditions. The one of the conditions is over Bachelor of Computer Science, like that.
Sure.
Then, but in Japan, so actually, so in my feeling, the developer with computer science with bachelor is not many. Then that's why. So sometimes that's why. So Japanese developers sometimes try to learn by myself, or get the training, coding exercise from company, or go to the programming school by a company, and then try to learn coding around 3 months to 6 months.
Sure.
Then after that, they get a job. So how is Canada? They have coding. They have programming school, and then companies always request the Bachelor of Computer Science.
I think overall, Canada or North America really does expect you to have a bachelor of whatever it may be. In this case, bachelor of computer science or software engineering to do those jobs. I think as time passes and more companies are adapting to this, the education level is starting to become less important.
That's
Like,
really
I
good.
think for some jobs, yes,
I
it's nice to have those.
Understand
But as
that.
long as you've taken the effort, shown initiative to take those programming courses like in Coursera or some other 6-month boot camp type of service, self-learning. I think more people are finding that valuable. Right? Like this is not to say you should not go to school and jump to the 6-month program. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I think school for the most part can only take you so far. Where they teach you a lot of theory, they teach you good problem solving skills. But if you've never built an app or you've never participated in programming in the whatever language you're interested in, then you're going to have somewhat of a disadvantage to someone who has that experience, whether it's in a 6-month project or just some internship. Because real life experience at the end of the day is what matters, right? Like when I try to hire right now, like, is it nice you have a degree? Yes.
I see.
But I don't care if you don't have a degree or you have a degree in some other program. And you've shown the effort that you care, you're willing to learn, and you're interested in problem solving. for what we have. In my old company, actually, one of the best workers I've ever worked with
Yeah.
actually was a doctor.
A doctor.
He did his medical degree,
Oh.
and then he said, I don't want to be a doctor.
Wow.
I want to program. So he
A
took
challenge.
a 1-year self-programming course. and
1
came-
year.
Yeah, 1 year.
Oh.
But to me, he was such a hard worker. He could have done anything, and it didn't matter. But you see, like his
Nice
his
attitude.
degree did not help him in the job I hired him
Yes.
for. But he was hardworking. He's a good communicator, good
Mm.
problem solver, and those were the skills that showed me he was a good person to work with. And I remember him to this day.
Yes.
His name is Ian, very good worker.
He had other skills.
Yeah, he was a good worker. He was willing to learn and always willing to listen. When you start off a new job like that, always be willing to listen. I think is a good, important attribute.
I understand. I think it's similar. It's also similar in Japan.
Yeah.
The situation. Okay. So thank you, Carson-san. That finally, at first, can you explain about your product and service? Just advertisement, like that.
Sure. No, so at LanCul, we're not just another language exchange. We encourage an exchange of culture. So that's why we have in-person sessions where you always, like a Japanese person will sit down with a native English speaker to talk about not just learning English. That's why we're not in a classroom setting. We want to learn about everybody's stories,
Yes.
about everybody's cultures, and we have people working from many different countries because English is just a language. But if you're from America, Canada, Spain, New Zealand, wherever, every English is different, slightly different, and welcome everyone to come check it out and share your experiences with us. That's what we do at LanCul.
Yeah, actually, so at first, I think I met LanCul 8 years ago. Then
Before me.
Yeah, before you. So because my friend, the CEO Shio-Suen-kun is my friend. Then that's why. So recently I surprised. Oh, you have a mobile application now.
Yeah.
That's why. So if you are interested, then for example, if you are interested in to study English and then you want to try to communicate with people in the world, I'd like you to check it. Okay. はい、というわけで以上、今日はカーソンさんにお越しいただきました。というわけで、またね、この動画良かったと思ってくれた方は、ぜひ高評価と、チャンネル登録してもらえると幸いです。ではまた次の動画で会いましょう。バイバイ、See you!
この動画はオンラインプログラミングスクールのテックアカデミーの提供でお送りしました。
はい、ちなみに今日紹介した会社のLanCulさんでは Web エンジニアのポジションの人を募集してます。Web エンジニアの方でスタートアップとか自社開発とかこういうイケてる海外っぽい会社で働いてみたいという人はぜひですね、求人要項概要欄に貼っておきますのでチェックしてみてください。